Hi everyone, I'm the Whiskey Enthusiast. Welcome back to my channel. Tonight we're doing something different. Tonight we're discussing how to taste and describe whiskey. Now, when I first started whiskey, and I know everyone around me, they all had the same issue when they first started, didn't know how to talk about it. They tasted stuff, well, we tasted stuff, we smelled stuff, but how do you describe it? You watch all of these videos, they're talking about freshly cut hay or grass on a sunny day just after rain. Like, where do you get those notes? Like, what does it happen? Is there grass in there? People ask, like, are there nuts in whiskeys because you say you smell nutty? No, these are all what it reminds you of. So today we're going to talk about how to smell, get these notes, and how to deliver it, how to describe it. So basically, if you have a nose that you can smell, and if you have a mouth that you can taste food with, drinks with, you're halfway there. And the rest is, like with everything in life, is about practice. How do you practice? You basically smell everything. If you go somewhere that's a bit outside of your normal routine, just open up your mind, open up your nose, and start smelling. And your mind, without you knowing, will register those smells. And when the time comes, if that's in the glass, you will get it, and then you'll be like, it reminds me of the day that I had a walk with my friend in that area. Then you say, why does it remind me of that? And you try to dissect it, because there was freshly cut grass. That's it there. So it just takes a bit of a practice. It's not hard, it will take time. Also, some smells are very, very specific. Now, when you're smelling the whiskey, you might immediately go back, because smell is very connected to memory. You might immediately go back in time to when you were a kid on Sunday morning with your grandma and her cooking of cookies. Like, that reminds me of that, beautiful. Now, why does it remind me of that? What kind of cookies were it? Were they chocolate chip? Were they vanilla? Vanilla, okay, am I smelling the vanilla? Am I smelling these? The vanilla sugar, why is it smelling of vanilla sugar? This is a bourbon, or this is an ex-bourbon barrel matured whiskey, and bourbon barrels impart that vanilla, caramel, sugary smell. So you're like, okay, that's why. And then from then on, rather than saying grandma's cooking on a Sunday morning, you say, I smell vanilla. And that's how you build it up. Obviously, you can't pick these words from the air. You have to have a certain memory. And how do you build that memory? You go out and smell. But another trick is to go off of a list when you're first starting it. I brought two things with me. One of them is this flavor wheel that you can find it on online. I'll also put a link. Have a look though. It's very has all those charts, all those categories, and within the categories are even more categories. So if you're smelling, you say this smells fruity, and then under the fruity has citric, fresh fruit, cooked fruit. Fresh fruit, okay, fresh fruit. Apples, pears, pear drops, peaches, apricots, fruit salad. Fruit salad, boom, there's an official note there for you. You write it down. Also, there's this WHISKYSMITHS thing. I'm going to put the link down to this as well. This is for taking notes, and it also makes it quite simple and easy to begin with. Now, this is how you build up smell memory and how you talk about smells. When you start drinking, there are a few things to be careful about. Glassware is one of them. You need kind of a tasting glass. Even if you have one, that's fine. The premise is the bottom is big, where the flavors and the smell and the vapor is stored, and then it goes all the way to the top, getting a bit tighter, and then it focuses the smell to your nose. That's the premise of these glasses. I will do a separate video about which glassware to use. So when you're smelling, bring it to your nose, but don't get too close to burn your nostrils, because the alcohol is high, and the minimum you will get in a whiskey is 40%. So you might get even a cask strength one that will really burn, and then you're going to have to wait a bit to reset your nose. So get close and start thinking, start imagining, start remembering what it reminds you of. Also, a trick is to open up your mouth while you're smelling, and from the nasal cavity, the vapors could go back and forth, and you get even more nuanced notes. So you think about, and then you look at the list. You smell more, you look at the list, you eliminate. And then you might say, it smells sugary. Okay, always dissect the words. It could smell sugary, or it could taste sugary, but what kind of sugar? Is it artificial sugar? Is it sugar you get from a fruit? Is it cake? Is it caramel? Is it honey? And even if it's honey, then you dissect that. What kind of honey? Is it forest honey? Is it thyme honey? Like, it's endless. The more you practice, basically the more you drink, the better you're gonna get. And it's it's not so bad. When you're tasting, I go with a small sip in the beginning, just like you would sip a hot tea, hot coffee, just to get your mouth acclimated to that. Your beginning, your top of the tongue, your just mouth, like little, just to get it ready for the big gulp. Think about it, and then you have a big sip. You swish it around in your mouth. Think about all the notes it reminds you of while you're also drinking, or while you have the whiskey in your mouth. Also smell, because that kinda is gonna help you build even more taste memories, and it's gonna help you describe it even better. Sir Richard Patterson does this really cool thing. Go watch his videos. He says when he takes the first glass of whiskey in his hand, he just introduces him. He says, "Hello, how are you? Good, thank you. And you." So it just is like introduction to the whiskey. Obviously he does it slower and much more articulate than I do, but that's the premise. And when you drink it, when you switch around your mouth, and after you swallow, think about the finish. What's the finish mean? Finish means, what does it leave you with? Does it linger? Does it leave you with a different taste or feel that it did when it was in your mouth? And how long does it stay for? That's the finish. The nose is basically saying, what does it smell like? What does it remind you? On the palate, meaning, what's it in my mouth? Is it mouth coating? Is it sweet? Is it bitter? Is it spicy? If it's spicy, what kind of spice are we talking? Are we talking about chili spice, or are we talking about spice that comes from certain herbs that are actually not hot, but a bit different? These are all the things that you're going to have to build up on your own, or with friends, obviously, but go off of a list. Take the help of reviews of certain whiskeys that you're drinking, and try to find those notes, because some notes will be very specific to you, but some notes will be absolutely universal. There are certain things, certain casks impart. That also goes on to how to read a whiskey bottle's label, which I will do another video of. But there are certain cheats you can have. If the whiskey you're drinking is a Scotch whiskey from the Speyside region and matured in ex-bourbon barrels, finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry casks, that kind of tells you what kind of flavors you're going to get. That kind of tells you it's going to be more orchard fruit, because Speyside generally, not necessarily all the time. It's matured in ex-bourbon barrels, which means there are going to be caramel, vanilla, sugary notes imparted in it, a little bit of spice maybe from the oak, depending on the age, and then finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry cask, meaning that you need to read, Pedro Jimenez is the sweeter of the sherries. Then you're going to get a lot of red berries, a lot of jam, a lot of fruity notes. So these are all very practice-based. You got to smell a lot of things. You got to try to read what the whiskey is telling you, and you got to go off of your lists and your charts. And then, in time, it will be like second nature. Then you will see. But still, I look at my charts when I'm tasting something new, because it could remind you, it could trigger something. And the best thing is to drink with friends, because a friend of yours could say, it smells like almonds. Then it could remind you, oh yes, it does, but not normal almonds. It's that uber roasted almonds that's like nearly dried and dead. That's what it reminds you of. And you'll be like, yes, that's the kind of almond I was thinking. So, Guys, I hope this helped. It might have felt a bit rushed, I don't know. I try to pack as much as I can into a small amount of time. I will do more videos about glassware and you know, how to read the labels, how to buy whiskey. I'm going to go into a bit of a how-to videos. Hopefully you like it. If you do, please hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. And check my Instagram out at the Whiskey Enthusiast. And that's it from me, guys. Slanje. Have a good day.